Hi, we're back again one more time to show you how the giblet gravy comes together. You can find the instructions on our website, on the blog, or on the printout we have in the farm store with our turkey recipe. So you can see right here, I have made my gravy. It's nice and thick. You can see it kind of coating my spoon. And I basically just deglazed my roasting pan, poured out the juices, and set it over 2 burners on the stove, put in a bunch of butter, and whisked and scraped until I got all the bits up, added some flour to make a roux, just a paste. It's a pretty thin paste at first, browned that a little bit, and then I poured back in my pan juices and whisked those together until the mixture got pretty thick. And then I poured in 1 cup of the broth from cooking the giblets. That was actually the first step I forgot to mention. I cooked the heart, liver, gizzard, and neck in some broth, just boiling it for about 40 minutes. And I've diced up that organ meat mixture right here, cut off any grizzle or just pieces of connective tissue from the heart and the gizzard, and chopped it up really fine. And I've saved my neck. I'm gonna use that later for making turkey broth. So these are just the organ meats. And all I'm gonna do now is the last step. I'm gonna pour this little diced up organ meat mix into the gravy. And I promise no one will complain. The flavor is really mild, and the gravy is so just savory with the pan juices, the drippings from all the vegetables and herbs that you've added, the salt and pepper. And you can see it's just almost like just a little bit of a thickener. It's almost like those organ meats are just going to melt right into the gravy. You can see them a little bit, but it doesn't interfere with the texture at all. And this is just such a great way to get those extra nutrients. You have just used like every last bit of this turkey that you could, and getting that into your family and friends just feels so good. And if you're not happy with the thickness of your gravy at this stage, you can save, you've saved the rest of this broth over here. You can just pour a little bit more in, and that will, stretch it out if you want to have a little bit more, or if you just want it to be thinner. I like mine nice and thick, but we want it to serve a lot of people, so I usually stretch it a little bit. So you can do that just to your own liking. And if it ends up getting too thin, you can just sprinkle a little bit of flour in there, whisk it in, and just kind of keep playing with it back and forth until it's the consistency that you like. And the last thing I want to tell you about your turkey is just after you've carved your bird, maybe everybody's done eating and it's time to start cleaning dishes and things like that. If you just make it your last step that you're going to pick all the meat off these bones and pop them into a crock pot or stock pot, fill it up with water. You don't have to do anything else fancy. It's already got so much extra flavor baked into the bones and the carcass and everything. Just let that go overnight, and then the next morning you can have wonderful savory turkey broth for sipping, or for making into a soup, or using in any of your leftover recipes. So really, with that last step, you have really, really used every little bit of your fantastic pasture-raised turkey, getting all the nutrition and all the flavor. So thanks for joining us, and again, happy Thanksgiving from Whiffle Tree Farm.